And first up, we have the Daily Beast. Leslie H. Gelb pours scorn on everyone for the crisis in Ukraine. Russians, Americans, Europeans and Ukrainians. He says they're plunging on forward toward the all-time foreign policy record for venality, lying, hypocrisy and self-destructive manoeuvres. He says Vladimir Putin must be coaxed down from his perilous perch. He blames the EU in particular for not doing enough to forestall the situation, claiming that they didn't offer enough to Viktor Yanukovych and should have come to a joint agreement with Russia for helping Ukraine. And he says that it's in nobody's interests for the situation to deteriorate, not the US, which needs Russia on side for Iran and Syria, not Europe, which needs Russian gas, and certainly not Ukraine and Russia, both of whom are facing internal instability. And in The Guardian, Mary Jajewski, a former Moscow correspondent, talks about oligarchs. She says the UK is particularly reluctant to impose economic sanctions on Russia, as was evidenced by a leaked government memo last week. Jajewski hopes that Washington and Brussels will put pressure on London to finally rethink its lax attitudes towards ill-gotten gains from the East. She says it should apply to not just to Russian oligarchs, but to Kazakh, Ukrainian and oligarchs from elsewhere.
Oliver, the missing Malaysian Airlines plane is still shrouded in mystery very much.
That's right. The English-language Malaysian daily The Star has it on its front page with the headline "Searching for Answers." Vietnamese Air Force planes are still looking for signs of the missing Boeing, though they have found 2 fuel slicks that may come from the plane. As of yet, they found no debris. And inside it notes the similarity to Air France Flight 447, which went missing en route from Rio de Janeiro to Paris in 2009. That flight also disappeared suddenly from radar without any distress signal. Now, the Air France flight was found to have crashed due to a combination of pilot and technical errors. Speculation has already started as to what might have caused MH370 to disappear. The Australian Daily Telegraph wonders if a broken wing weakened the plane. It was involved in a runway collision with another aircraft 2 years ago, which left it with a broken wingtip. The Bangkok Post reports that the missing plane may have turned back before it went missing. That is according to Malaysian authorities who scanned radar traces, but there was no notification of a U-turn, which is supposed to happen in this case. And there's also the possible terrorism angle after it emerged that 2 or possibly as many as 4 passengers bought tickets with stolen passports. That the International New York Times notes that the passports had been stolen from Italian and Austrian nationals in Thailand, and the holders of the stolen passports were sitting beside each other, suggesting they were travelling together.
Oliver, this month, March, marks the 3rd year of the war in Syria, a war that obviously hits children particularly hard.
Yes, and the international charity Save the Children has issued a report timed to coincide with that anniversary. It says that the civil war's effects on the health of children are actually far more insidious than is widely understood. Like more than 10,000 children have already been killed and 1.2 million forced to leave the country, and many more displaced within Syria itself. But there are hidden costs too, such as a completely shattered health system, which makes it hard or almost nigh impossible to treat diseases such as cancer, epilepsy, asthma and diabetes. There's also been an outbreak of polio, a disease which had been previously eradicated, and Save the Children hopes the report will refocus the world's attention on the war's human impact.
Finally, Oliver, you found an article for us on Caribbean countries who are trying now to get compensation for slavery.
That's right. The Guardian reports that heads of state of 15 Caribbean countries gather in St. Vincent today to unveil a plan demanding reparations for slavery from former slave trading nations. They include the UK, France, Spain, Portugal and the Netherlands, but also Scandinavian countries. And Sir Hilary Beckles, who heads the reparations task force, says money is not the main objective. It's more about support for development and literacy programs, increased medical assistance to a region which suffers from quite a few diseases such as hypertension and type 2 diabetes, which the task force claims are as a result of the fallout of slavery. And Sir Hilary Beckles, and also they want a sincere apology from European countries. Sir Hilary Beckles himself, incidentally, is a historian at the University of the West Indies in Barbados, and he's descended from slaves that were once owned by the actor Benedict Cumberbatch, who himself played a slave owner in 12 Years a Slave.
Of course, those were the ancestors of actor Benedict Cumberbatch who once owned those slaves.